Welcome to the Litany of Catholic Martyrs for September 5th. In a secular world filled with those who turn their backs on the one sent by the Creator, we take time today to honor those men, women, and children who joyfully offered themselves as a living sacrifice to Holy Mother Church. As we go about our daily chores, let us bring to mind those martyred men, women, and children with the words of Father John Hardon, Society of Jesus. Never in the history of the papacy has any bishop of Rome written at greater length about martyrdom than Pope St. John Paul II. His encyclical, The Gospel of Life, devotes 1,000 or more words to the call to martyrdom in our age. He reminds us of the revelation from the Old Testament to the New, and from the time of Christ to the present day. It's the history of martyrdom as a witness to the truth. He names Susanna, who refused to consent to lechery and was ready to die to preserve her chastity. He spoke of John the Baptist, who was beheaded by King Herod because he condemned the adulterous marriage of the king. But he especially identifies Jesus Christ as the King of Martyrs, who died on the cross as a witness to the truth, which he was sent to proclaim to the world. So the history of courageous practice and profession of the truth has gone on for 20 centuries of Christianity. We commonly speak of the first 300 years of the Christian era as the age of martyrs. Certainly tens of thousands of believing Christians laid down their lives rather than compromise their Christian faith and morality to the pagan culture in which they lived. Every single pope up to the 4th century died a martyr's death. So, far from crushing Christianity or destroying the church founded by Jesus Christ, martyrdom actually contributed to the growth of a Christian civilization. The phrase, sanguis martyrum est semen Christianorum, the blood of martyrs is the seed of Christians, was not some pious aphorism. It was a literal fact of history. The more blood was shed by Christians in dying for their faith, the more Christianity expanded throughout what had been a pagan world. So in conjunction with that, the following is a list that those of the Church ask us to remember today. Please remember, as always, to pray for those families who had loved ones who were martyred on Easter Sunday in Sri Lanka. The feast of St. Lawrence Justinian, first Patriarch of Venice, who by glorious miracles and virtues illustrated the episcopal dignity which he received against his will on this day. His birthday is the 8th of January. In the suburbs of Rome, Blessed Victorinus, bishop and martyr in the time of Nerva Trajan, being renowned for sanctity and miracles, he was elected bishop of Amerterno by the whole people. But afterwards he was banished with other servants of God to Contelliano, where spring forth fetid sulphurous waters. Sometimes the way they write this. But afterwards he was banished with other servants of God to Contelliano, where spring forth fetid sulphurous waters, and was suspended with his head downward by order of the judge Aurelian, having for the name of Christ endured this torment for 3 days. He was gloriously crowned and went victoriously to our Lord. His body was taken away by the Christians and buried with due honors at Aretino. Also at Porto, the birthday of St. Herculanus, martyr. At Capua, the holy martyrs Quincius, Arcontius, and Donatus. On the same day, St. Romulus, prefect of Trajan's court, for reproving the cruelty of the emperor towards Christians, he was scourged with rods and ultimately beheaded. At Melitene, in Armenia, the martyrdom of the holy soldiers Eudoxius, Zeno, Macarius, and their companions to the number of 1,104, who threw away their military belts and were put to death for the confession of Christ in the persecution of Diocletian. At Constantinople, the holy martyrs Urbanus, Theodore, Mendedemus, and their ecclesiastical companions, 77 in number, who were put in a ship by the command of the Emperor Valens and burned on the sea for the Catholic faith. In the neighborhood of Terouanne, I think, in the monastery of Cithou, Saint Bertin Abbot, and finally at Toledo, Saint Obdulia Virgin. These are the men, women, and children we honor today. Let us not forget them as we go through our day, and when presented with a chance to defend the faith, let us act accordingly as these martyrs did. God bless.